It's the JT Cho Show!
10, 9, 8,
Welcome to the first podcast presented by nobody, because I'm not sponsored, because this isn't good quality content. I just want to do them live. I don't like editing. Not that I don't like editing. I just don't like editing podcasts. The only way to get better is to just continue to do it, and this is the very first one. Thought I'd get a little loose for it, drinking some Traverse Bay Winery wine. It's a all-natural cherry wine made with a sweeter style, and it is produced from a variety of tart cherries grown in nearby orchards. So it's really sweet. I'm not a wine expert, but whatever. So the type of podcast that I'm going for, and I took notes, and I'll get better, and I'll come with actual topics to where I won't need notes. But I just wanted this to be a feel-good type vibe podcast. Throw it up on the tube, and then I'm gonna also throw it up on I think iTunes, and then all the other ones you gotta pay for, I think. But I'll definitely throw them up on both. If I don't throw it up today is Saturday, November 23rd. So it might get thrown up on Sunday the 24th. Good game on that day, by the way. It's gonna be Packers, 49ers, primetime television. I like the Packers. Even got my mini cheesehead always nearby. So yeah, I just kind of want to talk, and people who will like to listen, thanks. If you hate it, cool. There's a lot of podcasts out there. Everyone has a podcast. I'm not special. I'm just doing this because I truly enjoy doing this, and I just like to talk. I like to talk a lot, and you'll learn that about me. Once I bring on guests, which we'll talk about in here in just 1 second, I just kind of want that format. Let's just sit down and talk about whatever, and wherever the conversation goes, and forever how long. Sometimes I typically want them to be an hour, but sometimes if we're just jawing away and you got nothing really going on, then whatever, we'll just end it at an hour. But man, if we're just jawing, we'll go for maybe 2, 3. Sorry, I usually style my hair, but yeah, I'm fresh out of the shower. I just did a 5K run, did a 23-minute split. I'm 225 pounds right now. I'm really trying to get to 205, so maybe we'll talk about a little bit of eating better. And I just eat like trash now. I just run the minimum amount that I do, and I ran twice this week. But I basically just watch my calories, are really what I eat during the week, and then on the weekend I'm just let's work out. So I just go work out for 2 hours, and then I'll just be okay, I can just pig out if I want to. I really should try to slow down on the old Coke Zero, because man, dude, I'll drink that pop all day long. So I'm gonna sometimes adjust the mic settings, because the playback wasn't good for me. See, this is the very first podcast. I've gotten my trusty notepad out, so I'm going to actually try to take notes, get better at it. Let's talk about some guests. So I know that this is show 1, but some of my lined-up guests, 1 or 2, so maybe the very first guest or the very second guest, possibly the third guest, depending on how Sunday goes. But my first guest will most likely be the commissioner of the fantasy football league that I enjoy the most. I'm in 3 leagues this year. I enjoy one of them the least. I hate it, and then I like the other 2. One of them's with a bunch of my old teachers, and I'm 29 now, and I'm eyeing a lot. That's not good etiquette. So anyways, one of my teachers hit me up, and he's like, hey, you want to be in my league? And I might make the playoffs. And I love beating my old teachers. I just want to be that's for that B-. You like Chicago? I don't like Chicago. Go Pack, go So anyways, his name's Team Cut. All about the cut. Cut this, cut that. There's a little hair on my screen. So, but Cut will be on the show. He'll be on the show a lot. He'll be one of the guest callers. I'm going to try to not really drop a lot of F-bombs. I don't really care if you do or not. I'm just not going to try. I'm going to kind of keep it cleaner. I mean, sometimes it might slip out, but this isn't going to be a show where you're just like, fuck this, all the time. It's just going to be like, if it's part of the story, it's part of the story. And hey, man, if you're not used to that kind of language, I'm sorry. There's a thing you can do. You can just turn off your podcast. You can just not listen. You can just stop the podcast. You can just close your computer. You can just close the internet window. You can do all of those things except for keep watching and then complain about it, okay? If you don't like it, just turn it off and go listen to everybody else who's way better than me. Wow, what a rant. But yeah, we'll talk about our fantasy league, how it's set up. Playoffs are right around the corner. We'll kind of do like a final week preview. Kind of explain the process of where our league started and where it is at today. So I'm the co-commissioner, and I enjoy that. I actually commission one league with almost the same individuals, and it's a lot of work to do by yourself, and I was already gambling too much. Excuse me 1 second. Harrison Ford. Harry! Down. Get down. Come here. So this wasn't playing. Come here. Harry. This is my cat. This is my cat, Harrison Ford. All right? And Harry was just on the counters, and he knows he's not supposed to be on the counters. So Harrison Ford, don't get on the counters, okay? And then, hey, Cora. And then, here Cora hears it. So we'll introduce you to this is my baby girl, Cora. She's a 2-year-old. Well, she'll be 2 in January. It's February-ish. I don't know. I found her in the hole in the ground in New Mexico. But this is Cora, and she's a Husky Border Collie. And I also have another dog that you probably won't see today, but his name is Thor, and he's a pug boxer. And Thor's like the goodest boy you'll ever a good boy in your entire life. And Cora here, she looks sweet, and she's got such a pretty face. But, man, dude, she's a hellraiser. Hey, you want to not do that, please? Huh? All those creepy noises that you're hearing, yeah, dude, my house is haunted. It's not. I have the washer going. Zach Bagans. Oh, hold on. Okay, Cora. Goodbye. So, anyways, we'll talk about how the league is set up. Talk about fantasy football. Boom, there's a topic. So then the second and or possibly first guest is going to be an old military buddy, Frank. If you're watching, thanks for watching. If you're listening, appreciate that too. But yeah, Frank's a good guy. Frank can talk for days. So when I'm in Florida in a couple weeks, I'm trying to do 2 podcasts with him. Guck, maybe, possibly, maybe. Guck's another guy that he's hilarious. But I also want to do a podcast where I'm playing Mario Kart because Frank thinks he's really good at Mario Kart. And he just doesn't understand that I'm so much better. Let me talk to you about Mario Kart real quick. I can still go into other places I haven't met people at with 100% confidence that I'm better at you than Mario Kart. For example, if a man ran into a bank and said, I'm going to kill, he handed me a magical game system. Pretend this is a Switch, but you can play any game. You got to finish in first place, though. What game are you picking? I'm picking Mario Kart. I'm going to finish in first every time. I showed up to the new place I worked, and I kind of let it go here and there. I was like, yeah, you guys are probably better at Smash Bros than I am. But I know I'm better than you at Super Mario Kart. So they're like, blah, 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 blah. So I played this kid I don't care. I'll play whatever controller you got. We played without bumpers. I was beating this kid 45 zip. He's like, oh, I gotta go to another place. And I was like, okay, man, see you later. And I was like, who doesn't finish the circuit? And it's all about the circuits. Who cares if you win a race? It's all about podium, baby. And so one day before work, again, people are like, oh, I could beat you. I'm pretty. And I'm like, hey, I'm here. I'll I'll show up an hour before. So I show up an hour before. In 60 banged them. 1, 2, 3, 4 first place finishes. I got blue shelled 1 time during the first lap and twice during the second lap. And I still... hilarious. My boy Earl will definitely, hopefully, be on a podcast. But, anywho, so that's how good I am at Mario Kart. And I can still come in like 4th or 5th place when I play Holcomb and Earl, because not that, like, you know, we have more than 4 friends playing. It's because, like, we're so competitive that we're just knocking each other out of first and place with, like, green shells. And, like, Earl on the Wii Mario Kart, he used to play automatic, and it'd be crazy because I could never play automatic. I'm a manual guy from day one. And Earl would still be kicking ass with original Mario, standard kart, automatic transmission. And I'm just like, I don't know how you do that, man. You're a madman. So he's another good guy. But yeah, so as good as I am, I still come in 3rd place. And they're like, what? And I was like, yeah. And like me and Cut, like Cut's got the advantage right now in Mario Kart over me. I'm pretty upset, but I have beat him and Jesus. Jesus is his brother, and God is his father. So, anywho, I won the last circuit between me, Jesus, Cut, and then Garb maybe, and then I beat Cut again. I got video proof. I got it on my timeline. So, I mean, if he starts talking some smiggity smack, I'll throw those up on the old Twitter. Hashtag JT of Jville. You know, I'm a terrible self-promoter because I should have... Well, what I eventually want to do is I want to get a t-shirt, but hashtag JT of Jville. Man, look how terrible this looks. You'll find like at JT of Jville for most of my handles. My Facebook I got to fix. My Venmo, JT of Jville. And then what else? Go to jtofjville.com. That has all my links to all my pages. So I'm really good at Mario Kart. So I want to do one where we're just playing and I'm just going to be all lax, like, yeah, this is whatever. And Frank's going to be like, dude, this is bullcrap. And I'm just like, dude, I knew this was going to happen. I think that'd be hilarious. Some other guests, maybe Real Fake Gary every now and then. Joe, if you like World of Warcraft, my buddy Turtle, like Entourage, he'll definitely talk about World of Warcraft. Sorry, wow, I'm a scrub. He won't talk about World of Warcraft. He'll talk about Dungeons and Dragons. So he's got his own crew, and he comes over and like he just tells me about his stories, and I'm just like, dude, this is like super interesting. Like I can't do it personally. Like I would have to. Not that I can't get into Dungeons and Dragons. I think I would just be like too much about it. Like there's Joe Rogan says it a lot, but he's like really good at pool, hunting, comedy, UFC, and he's got so many things in his life. And then someone introduces like, he's like, oh, I can't take up, the other week he's like, I can't take up golf because I know I would obsess over it. So I think that's how it would be for me if I started playing D&D. So I just I already play enough Xbox. I'm doing this. I have another side job. I'm starting to go to clubs in Michigan. I want to go to Chicago, trying to get in Grand Rapids, Ann Arbor. I'm pretty close to Ohio, so maybe some Toledo action. But I listen to like a lot of comedian podcasts and a lot of people who like talk about stand-up comedy, and like that's like really my main goal. Like I don't care if my podcast never takes off. I don't care if I never like get selected for movies. I mean, look at this face. This is not the face. This is not a Leo face. This is a face. Leo's face is like you can put me on anything. Like Ryan Reynolds. Like those are some handsome guys, and be comfortable with your sexuality. But all I'm saying is like. This is a face that's not even made for radio. That's how bad it is. So, like, I don't care if they never, like, throw me in anything like that. But I really want to do stand-up comedy. Like, my ultimate goal would be to have, like, an hour stand-up special either on Netflix, HBO, Showtime, or even Comedy Central. Like, start bringing back some stand-up to Comedy Central. But if I could just get just one time, 1 hour stand-up, I would hit my goal in life. And then... just, keep writing. And the other day, like, I was thinking about it, and I write a lot. Like, I'll, oh, that was funny, and then I'll type it in my phone. And my phone's my main source of writing. And I was just, going through all my stuff that I wrote. I was like, dude, this is so much material. That's good. So start working it. So I'm, trying to go to Grand Rapids, Lansing, Ann Arbor, Toledo, Chicago. But yeah, I mean, I'm even trying to do it when I go to Florida, but it's tough because like no one's really hit me back. So my goal, I'm going to give myself to 25 to do that. And then if not, then I'll still do it as a hobby because I really enjoy it. But I mean, at some point, Steve Carell, Steve Carell. But yeah, so so those are some of the guests that we'll have on. Maybe my roommate Aaron, he might be a guest. I told you we talk about fantasy football, talk about comedy. Certain people that I like right now is someone texted me something and it's kind of important, and this is very rude of me as a host, and you're taking time out of your day to examine my artwork, and I'm not giving you the proper respect. But let me just reply this one time and I'll keep my phone down for the rest of the time. But yeah, I think I'm just going to keep calling this the JT Show. I was going to call my podcast Time Out with JT, but I already have like 2-3 episodes, I think, of JT Show. So I'm just going to like roll with that and then redo the intro maybe. But, stand by for that. But I'm definitely going to try to upload this today. So anyways, back to who I like. So I like Conan O'Brien, great interviewer, funny guy, great comedy writer. I've always been a Conan fan. Us Gingers got to stick together. So, even if I could do 5 minutes on Conan O'Brien, dude, that'd be super fantastic. I like hot ones right now. I love spicy food. Love it. So, if I ever, again, get to the point where I'm doing hot ones, that's another, like, place I'd really like to, like, experience it and go about my day afterwards and take that as something I'll never forget. Rhett and Link, I love Good Mythical Morning. I've been watching probably for a year now, so where was I for all those other years? So those guys, they got the right formula. They change it up, they mix it up. They got great games, great names, great friendship, great show, great everything. The Joe Rogan Experience. Joe Rogan, you are the funniest. Here's an instance. You are the funniest motherfuckers I've ever listened to on a daily basis in my life. Your stand up, me and my boy Earl, we were in my basement watching on Comedy Central, and the things that you were saying, we could not stop laughing. I think I had to rewatch half of it because I was laughing so hard. And then Triggered, hilarious. I love your podcast. You talk about a lot of great stuff. You let people just come and express you're not your views might differ, but you just let them talk, and that's an awesome thing. You've had Bernie on, which was a good listening experience. Andrew Yang. Then you have your boys like Ari and Bert, Tom Segura, who's an OG in my book. He's the best one besides Joe Rogan. But yeah, I like what you do on your show. Sometimes I'm like, I don't want to hear about quantum physics today because I just don't get it. But yeah, you bring in a lot of things, and I also like shout out to Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, great format. Video Game Donkey on YouTube. Man, it's sweet every time. You want to calm down there? Anyways, Video Game Donkey, he's hilarious. He's so funny. And he just does his own thing. He's got a right formula, hilarious voice, spaghetti, tacos. I don't even know what he really meant by that episode. I still think he likes spaghetti more, but someone probably touched it, so he switched it to tacos. Nakey Jakey, he's got a great format. Love the I love the ball that he sits on. Hilarious. So yeah, those are kind of a lot of the influence and stuff that I have, but I'm not really, oh yeah, today on this show, and I'm just gonna review different shows. No, dude, I just want to maybe do more research into a topic and then talk about that. Things that I can talk about for a super super long time. Anime, for instance. I love anime. I started watching Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball. Toonami was a huge factor growing up, hitting at 5:30 Eastern time to watch Dragon Ball Z. Man, the Frieza saga, was awesome. Vegeta saga, awesome. Watching those on TV. And then they moved to Saturdays because like this other Fish Girl thing took over, and it had like Code Lyoko, and all these shows had like were weird but kind of okay. But I was still mad that they took Toonami off, and Naruto came on, and man, I blew through that twice. I watched the entire series of Naruto, then Shippuden, and then Naruto, and then I got to like the last 25 episodes, and I stopped watching, and I watched it from start to finish again. And then, but because my boy started it, so I started watching it the same time he could, so we could watch it again. And he actually finished the series before I did. I read the manga, but I didn't want to watch it because now it's over. But I kind of, after this last sub arc of Boruto, I want to go and watch that because they just had a really awesome arc, and I keep seeing like, oh, look at this person meeting this person, and I'm like, that's amazing. I miss that person. Because I mean, like, they okay, there's the joke that like, okay, for instance, there's like a meme where it's like the movie when I'm by myself, and it's like a cool like action scene, he's like holding like a sword or like killing a dragon, and then like, oh, the movie when my parents walk in, and then it's like them having sex. Like they did it with Game of Thrones, they did it with like a ton of TV shows. But I think that's hilarious. And anime takes a bad rap, but at the same time, they don't really build a good defense for themselves. Saying that, I mean, a lot of people were like, oh, girls with big breasts and they're giggling and, you know, like, yeah, that's in it, and sometimes it's really funny, but you don't know the character's backstory, and all you think is we like it for the big tits. I mean, like, it's going to happen. There's going to be a girl with big tits in an anime, okay? If some guy put a gun to my head and said, when's the next time you're going to see a pair of big tits? I'm probably going to say, well, I'm going to go online and read some manga today, so probably with some anime. But I'm just saying, every show's got at least one. Whether it be a character that was on for one episode or most of the time they got main characters. Like, if not main, like support characters. Like Hinata, sorry. You know? Like ridiculous. Bleach, need I say more? There's like 3 right off the rip. Cowboy Bebop, I mean, they're not like overly large, but I mean, like, you know, Faye's just a normal average person, and then as soon as like one of my friends starts watching, it's like, oh, look at this weird scene, and I'm just like Ghost in the Shell has a really weird scene, and I feel like that's the episode that people would like start watching, like, oh, what's this show? And I'd be like, oh man, it's this fantastic show about these people, and they're like, their spirits are in these robots, but like it's just a shell, and they're just a ghost inside of a shell, hence the name Ghost in the Shell complex. That's not like really the whole thing, but it's a fantastic show with 2 seasons, and I own them both, and I've watched them like at least 3 or 4 times because it's one of the OG animes that I started watching. And all of a sudden, like, there's a really weird episode, and I feel like that one episode would ruin it. Like, that one episode that you feel weird about, even though you're a huge fan of the series, that's the episode that usually comes on when I'm trying to introduce people to things. So, you know, usually I try to, like, not show anything past episode 5, but if episode, like, I try to show them, like, the best episode. Or if they're like, oh, I'm never going to watch it, but like, I know a couple people that never watched Game of Thrones, but they've seen the Red Wedding, they've seen the Battle at Winterfell, the Battle of the Bastards. They've seen like all of these, like, they've spoiled the entire series. They didn't put up with hours of nonsense for a terrible ending like we did. They just watched like 5 episodes and were like, oh, that show was okay. And you're like, oh my God, you don't even know Jon Snow. You don't know, but now you know you don't know, you know Jon Snow, you don't. Anyways, that's how I feel about people who do things like that. They're terrible. It's like, dude, just enjoy the show. And also enjoy JT of Jayville, where you're going to find a lot of my links to my Twitter, my Instagram, my Venmo. You know what I'm saying? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So go there or at jtofjville.com. Any shows that I'll do, I'll probably do a podcast before and after the show. I'm going to want somebody to film it so I can watch myself tank and then take that film and review it and then just keep getting better and better. Because I know I've got the potential, because I'm never going to sell myself short until I'm like 40 and my hair's coming out and I can't grow a full beard so it doesn't look good. I mean, I can't grow a full beard, but I'm just saying, like, you know, something would happen. I'd just lose some hair. It'd be scruffy and I'd be patchy and I'd be working at like Olive Garden as a cook. So I basically work a microwave and basically like that's when I'll be like, okay, you're doing something wrong. But, you know, I feel like the right person at the right time is going to send me the right thing or, you know, hit me up and hopefully they'll be like, hey, fly out and do this thing. And then someone's like, hey, who's that guy? And then, you know, but I gotta put in the hours, you know, I can't just, it's not going to happen overnight. And like I said, Steve Carell, you know what I'm saying? Let's talk about some video gaming. So for the Switch right now, I've been playing Crash Bandicoot. I'm almost done with Crash 1. I've already beat Crash 3 because it's my favorite, so I skipped it. You know, I just went to Crash 3. It's the best. But I got to beat Crash 2. So once I beat the Crash Bandicoot Remastered, I'm going to allow myself to buy Spyro the Dragon for the Switch. Other games for the Switch that I'm playing, Kirby's... let me get this out there so more people play it because it's a great game and like it's like an underground game that not very many people play. Excuse me, hold on. But Kirby's Dream Course, oh, I love that game. But I'm always down for Mario Kart, Mario Party. I need to like take more time out of my life to get good at Smash Bros again, but I was never really good. And I'm always like coming in like hard third, so like I would rather just battle in the middle than invest any more time right now because I'm so busy. Not really. I play like Xbox a lot, but so I want to get that Luigi's Mansion. I'm super. Nintendo games never go on sale, but Luigi's Mansion, I'll probably end up getting that at some point. I still need to play Mario Odyssey. For the Xbox One, I've been playing a lot of Call of Duty. Kind of got me back in the old Call of Duty grind. I'm like halfway through the story of Tomb Raider. I'm not going to 100% it. Even though I should, I'm just lazy. I'm like, it's a good game series. I'm just trying to get back to another game series. I'm trying to buy, I think I mentioned this before in maybe one of my earlier ones, but like this is like the first official podcast. The other ones were like, you know, how's it going to turn out on video? And I did a little bit more research on podcasts and I was listening to people and I was like, you know, I can do both. I can do both platforms. So this is going to be like the first one that's like multi-platform. So that's why like some of the information that I'm going to be repeating, and I apologize. But hey, if you start out on this one, which is going to be episode 4 of the JT Show, I believe. But I really want to replay The Witcher from front to back, with all the DLC, without skipping side quests, learning like everything. Like, oh yeah, that's the blue flower that gives you magic. Like I want to like dive super deep into that game, put hundreds of hours in on The Witcher, and I'm super excited for that Netflix series. I've read the first book, which is like a bunch of like mini stories. Really lets you get to know Yennefer a little bit better. Really puts a great mystery around Geralt. Super excited for that series. I think December 20th. But I really want to dive deep in that game. And then at the same time, man, Skyrim's been calling my name. I know Oblivion and, you know, Oblivion is here, Morrowind's like here, and Skyrim's like here. But Skyrim like still holds like a huge place in my heart. I remember, here's a quick little down the old memory trail. I was hanging out with my buddy Jeff in college when he used to talk to me, and he's like, yeah, Skyrim. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't have time, blah, 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 excuses. I didn't know how I would like it. And I watched Jeff play for like 4 hours, and then it's like 4 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, can I borrow someone's car? So I ended up borrowing a car and driving to Walmart, one of the only places open 24/7. And I was like, can I buy Skyrim? And so I had to have like somebody unlock it for me. And like it's the first game that I bought from Walmart in like a long time, because like, you know, I would just go to midnight releases for GameStop, I wasn't at that time. I was not downloading games. I don't even know if you could when Skyrim was released it, but I know that I bought it for the 360, and I also bought it for the Xbox One. All the DLC I have, I played through it multiple characters. I've had your super duper strong characters. I've had your mages are like, okay, so mages in my book, they're like, okay, first it kind of sucks. Your armor sucks. You're wearing some cloth that you blessed. Good luck. Sneak around a lot. Heal. Learn to heal. But then like you get to your like master destruction spells and you're just like, and it's like you just walk into a room and you're just like, and then like this much of your magic goes away and you killed everybody already and you're like, wow, dude, rest of the game's to be cake. Sneak characters just make the game go long. You're just like, pew pew, and it's like, oh, you were hidden times 120 damage, and you're like, cool, I killed him. And then other times you're like in the middle of a boss fight and you're just like running away because you're too weak, but you're used to sneaking, so you like disappear and you hit him with a sneak shot, and you go on and on over and over, blah 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 blah. I've done your tank characters, heavy armor, two-handed battle axe, just running in there with an orc, ginger dreadlocks, just running around in there. So yeah, I remember that for sure. And then I played a couple different characters. I don't know if I played all the way through. I played a female dark elf, I think, and then I played one of the lizard guys. I don't really remember the name, but yeah, I played as one of them before. So I just want to do like another playthrough for no reason. It's a great game. I'm trying to kind of like get into this game called After Party. It's a game that came on an Xbox Game Pass. I played through the college level like 1.5 times together, and I don't know if it's saved to where I have to restart from the beginning again, but it's this like game where the potential story is, because I don't even know, I just watched the trailer. You're in college, somehow you die, you end up in hell, you start taking a boat somewhere, and some demon's like, you want to know the secret to get out of here in hell? There's a clause in the contract. And they're like, whoa, what's the clause? And she was like, it's probably to out-party the devil. So they go to the devil, they're like, hey man, we found this clause that I think it is, if you can out-party Satan, then you get your life back. And like Satan's like, are these guys still at it? Because they're like partying and they're playing like beer pong and like doing all these like party games and dances. So like I'm super interested in like a little indie game like that, like a little like original story, not in depth, just like a cool little playthrough. I eventually I'll start actually playing that. Banjo-Kazooie might be in the future. I like to pick up Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and see if I can beat it in a straight run, and I'll stream those. Last time I lost on the airplane level, so when I play, I just have to make sure I don't die so I can save them enough lives, because even the ending boss is tough, but man, that spaceship level and the ship level where you're flying around and the chickens are shooting cannons at you, it's always tough. It's a tough level for me. I'm a huge Sonic guy. And, huge Sonic guy. I also want to get Sonic versus Mario Olympics too, but, if I had more friends that live close by, then definitely, but I don't. So, I really like side scrollers. I started beating like terrible games for a while for like, I'm an amateur streamer too. I don't really have anything saved. I have like a random YouTube channel that I forget everything about. Like I forgot to email everything. So that's got like me playing Assassin's Creed Black Flag, which to me is the best Assassin's Creed. It's got like at least 3 hours of that online, and like one of them has 0 views. So it's pretty awesome. You can tell already. That game's great. I like Half Genie Hero. I beat that, and everyone's like, why are you playing this stupid game? I'm like, dude, I'm just streaming and having fun playing a game that I've never played before, and it kind of sucked, and the jumping wasn't like the best, but whatever, dude. She took her hair and she's like whipping it and hitting enemies, and it was weird and turning into like different creatures, and it was interesting, but at the end of the day, it wasn't that good. So like those are kind of like all the games that I'm into right now. Let's start setting some boundaries for when we talk sports. Sorry, people that don't like sports. I love sports. My favorite game to play right now is basketball because it only takes 3 people to have 21. Hey man, you want to play 21? No, I'd rather just shoot by myself. But if you want to play some 3-on-3, heck yeah, fours. I love running fours on like a small half court, like not like um like if this is the way the basketball court goes, then there's two. Those smaller courts are perfect for 4-on-4. 5-on-5's fun. My high school basketball coach on my last day playing basketball, he looked and he's like, well, I think this was like in the locker room. He kept the seniors in there last game at home, and he was like, we were terrible. We weren't terrible. We just, we weren't good. But he was just like, nothing will ever be like this ever again. He's like, no basketball you'll ever play will ever be like high school basketball unless you're going to the next level, which none of us were. So like we're like, wow, and it's right. I mean, you can play as much rec league as you want. It's never gonna be the same, dude. But it's still fun. It's still fun to play pickup. It's still fun to play pickup randomly. I don't really like playing outdoors. I hate double rims. I'd rather just play indoors. But I like to play defense. I like just to work. I like to work the floor, and if I'm shooting good, I'm gonna shoot, and if I'm not shooting good, I'm gonna facilitate. Like there was a game where I think I made one layup, and that's because someone's like, shoot the layup, idiot, because I kept like pumping and then like pumping and dumping, and one time they were ready for the dump, and they're just like, shoot it, you dummy, you're 3 feet away, and I was like, oh gosh, the pressure. But that's when those games are like super duper good. I mean, football I always hold near and dear to my heart, but it's hard to find like, come on, I don't want to play 2-on-2. 3-on-3 I can manage. 4-on-4 is getting better, and 5-on-5 is where it's really at. 7-on-7 now we're talking, and 8-on-8 we got a full battle squad for flag football, and all it takes is 16 people. All it takes. And when you're like a kid, that's like easy. We used to play like with like 30 kids before school. In middle school, and all you gotta do is like take towels and cut them. Take like old towels, like who cares? Go to like Goodwill. I don't even know if they sell towels. That'd be gross. But go to places like the Dollar Tree or whatever and get towels and just cut them in the strips and like tuck them into your shorts. Those are flags. They work great, and they're towels, so they're not gonna tear like super easy. And all you do is tuck them into like your underwear band or your shorts band, and they'll stay in while you're running, and then people can still pull them. Like, no pockets, you're going to break your finger. But flag football is awesome, but I just like basketball a little bit better. Hockey, I've kind of had to let go of. When I was like 18, 19, 20, 21, 22-ish, I was playing like a lot of pond hockey. Sometimes I go play hockey in a rink every now and then in Jackson or in Mount Pleasant. But I play goalie. But I just don't have the money or the time to invest to like get good at it again. And not that I was like good, but I mean, I could play, like, oh yeah, we can bring Taylor and he can just be a body. He's not going to be a hazard out there. He'll just be a body, My teams are the following: Tigers, Red Wings, Pistons, Green Bay Packers. Now, I like the Lions, don't get me wrong. Forward down the field, except when you're playing Green Bay. And I feel for Matt Stafford. I feel for the Lions fans. But as a kid, I grew up liking Brett Favre. And, he won a Super Bowl when I was 6. And then, those are the things you like, at 6 years old, you're like, I like this person. And then you got to commit. So, love the Packers, love Aaron Rodgers. I get this question a lot. Who do you like better, Rodgers or Brett Favre? And the only way that Aaron Rodgers tops it is if he wins 2 Super Bowls. Because, I mean, Aaron's a unique, gifted, he's very special. But there's also something special about Brett Favre. He wasn't as mobile, but, I mean, he could put the ball there. Aaron Rodgers puts the ball there, great. But Brett Favre would force the ball there. Triple coverage, interception, big surprise. But every now and then, when that ball goes like through 3 defenders' hands, you're like, wow, only Brett Favre can do that. Like I do a terrible job, Madden. But, Brett Favre, he was a special guy, man. And I chose Favre over Sanders. So, whatever. The Red Wings were in a slump. Eisenman's like in there and he's kicking rocks and he's getting stuff done. But, we'll be back. I had 26 good years. We'll be back. Four Stanley Cups up. We'll be back. The Tigers are the only team that I root for that haven't won a title. And we've lost 2 World Series in my lifetime, my senior year of high school, and then I think my senior year of college. I should stop being a senior. But we had our window. We had a great window, and we blew it. I feel bad for the Tigers fans out there. I mean, like, at least my parents got to see a championship. I mean, they still have, like, the old papers up and everything, like, in their closets and stuff. Like, that's all I need to see. I've seen 4 Stanley Cups. Technically, I was born under 2 cups, and then 2 NBA championships, and then I saw the best starting 5 ever in basketball. Beat the Lakers. That was awesome. 2004. What a great year. And then that's why I hate the Spurs too, because the Spurs just kicked the life out of the Pistons, and then LeBron James came along and just finished it. He was like the ending dagger. So I hate LeBron James. He's very talented. He's probably the best athlete I've ever seen work the floor in my entire life, and I'm not saying that he's not good. I just don't like him because he's played for Cleveland and he murdered my Pistons. I just don't like him. That's why, If I ever met him, I'd be like, wow, you're LeBron James, and I respect your talent, and you're a giant human being, and I'm not trying to say terrible things about you. Yeah, I think it's funny when people make fun of your hair, but I mean, it's really funny. You can make fun of my hair. It looks really stupid. It's uneven. But what I'm saying is you're super duper talented. But I don't like you, but I'm going to respect you. So I've seen the Pistons, hoist it, and then the Red Wings hoist it 4 times, and then I've seen Green Bay hoist it twice, and then I've seen the Tigers hoist it 0 times. So maybe we need to get some trash cans. Maybe we can trade for Justin Verlander we'll trade for Justin Verlander and that trash can and laptop for like 2 first-round picks. I would definitely take that. So those are my sports teams for sure. So, when I'll bring on people to talk about like football, playoffs, Frankie's a huge Philly guy. He's living in Florida now. So his wife's from Florida. So he also has the right to at least enjoy going to those games that are close to him, but he still technically has to root for traditional teams in Philly because he always has. And he's mad. He's so mad at Philly this year. And I'm like, they just won a Super Bowl like 2 years ago. Like, they're still contending. They're still like having like a positive season. And he'll just get mad. He'll just be like, Penn State's not doing good this year. I'm like, they have a winning record. They're second in the like. Do you want like people who complain about Jim Harbaugh? You got to remember, before Jim Harbaugh arrived in Michigan, we were in the top 10 1 week. 1 week after Carr, we were in the top 10 1 week with Hoke and Rich Rod. And with Jim Harbaugh, we've been in the top 10 for 33 weeks. And those numbers might be skewed a little bit, but I'm pretty sure I'm almost correct. So don't quote me. So anyways, we can talk about Philly with him. He's a Patriots fan, Kings fan. He's from the Bay. Oh, the Bay, California. But he likes a lot of his Bay sports. But he likes the Kings. He likes the Patriots. He likes the Oakland Athletics. I have a Oakland. One day I'll rate hats too. I'll rank the baseball hats. But I think the classic A's hat is probably the number 1 best hat in the MLB, period. Number 2, I hate the Yankees, but they're probably 2. And then 3, I like the crispy Blue Jays look. I love that hat. It's great. The Tigers, the Old English D, top 5. But unfortunately, Yankees steal at number 2. So that'll be a topic. Joe will never talk about sports, but it's okay. He knows about it. It's not like he sits down and he wasted his whole Sunday watching football. I mean, like, I do that all the time. Just 11 for pregame, fantasy football. 1 o'clock starts, 4 o'clock games, 8 o'clock games, 12:30, and I'm just starting to play video games. What a Sunday. But, like, he'll at least, like, pay attention. Like, oh, yeah, I heard that. Or, like, I actually did watch the end of that game. Or, yeah, it was on, so I watched it. But he's not going to watch all-day football. And then some other people that Gary doesn't really watch sports, which is cool. But yeah, like I said, I just want to bring whoever, into this who wants to do it, and then, have no problem with whatever the topic may be. I'm not really trying to yell. I'm not trying to really talk over anybody. Yeah, we can. I mean, me and Frankie might do it a little bit, but it's because you gotta out talk Frankie if you're gonna win a conversation. But I'm not really like trying to whoa. Let me finish. But like, I want to, you say this. Here's not really a counter, but here's how I feel about it. And then if you want to rebuttal it and or just, talk about that, then cool. If not, whatever. We can keep talking about whatever, and we can bounce to whatever conversations. And every now and then you're going to be like, yeah, hey, man, tell that story about that fish. And then, like, 9 stories later, I'm talking about, like, and that's how bridges are built. And we're like, how do we get on this conversation? And we're like, oh, man, it started 9 stories ago, So sometimes that happens, but, I mean, that's just, like, the way the conversation goes. And speaking of going... Here's another plug for when you should go to JT of Jville. I'm gonna make a shirt. I'm gonna wear a shirt, not next time, but I'm gonna make a shirt. JTofJville.com. Hashtag JT of Jville, at JT of Jville for my Insta and my Twitter. And I'll be sharing a link on my stuff when I'm doing that. Let's talk about my equipment. So I'm using a Mac that I bought off my buddies, and I took some of the money that I gambled, and I bought a Yeti Blue mic. So I bought this mic. I know it's not like those masterpieces that big studios have, but for my expertise level of not having any expertise, it has 4 different functions. Some for interviewing, some for music, some for sounds coming from 3 different directions, 2 different directions. One for specifically podcasting, Skype, game streaming, voiceovers, things like that. So I thought it was a great deal. I already had a mic cover from one of my old mics, but that mic, it would pop. It would just continually... It was just a really cheap mic I bought, and I never really used it because it was actually better for me to use my headphones that I had from Apple than to actually talking to that mic. So don't spend just $15 on the mic. I mean, if that's all you can afford, cool, but it just kept and there's nothing you could... I would Google how to fix that and be like, you got to buy this special thing that's twice as much as your actual equipment. And you're like, I'm not going to buy an adapter. I'm not going to buy an adapter that's twice as much as the product that I'm using. I'm just going to save my money and buy a nicer mic. And so far, the quality of the mic is fantastic. I can hear it. I can turn how I receive it up. I'm trying to have a little background music every now and then playing on my Spotify. I don't know if that's going to get copyrighted issues, but I'm not really making cash off these first episodes anyways because I'm never going to probably make cash off of this. But... hopefully they don't be like, flag for content, but I just like streaming some... Joe got me into lo-fi, but I like doing a little bit of background music, so it's not just a bunch of dry air or what I'm talking about. Has something, to fill it. So for the last, 12 minutes, let's finish it up. I'll kind of tell you another activity I like to run. I'll work out. Like I said, I work out specifically to maintain this figure that I have right now, even though I want to lose 20 pounds. I haven't been quite as motivated to lose 20 pounds, and a lot of it's my nutrition, and I do need to do a little bit more research to figure out how to eat way less food than I do, or better food, or what I can start eating and enjoying eating and easy making on my schedule, or what can I do to improve, my weight loss goal of 20 more pounds. So I like to work out. I like to do light weights. I love cardio. Love running. Just did a 5K today, and I ran through this Christmas course. It's Michigan International Speedway, and I like doing 5Ks. I did my first triathlon this year. I finished second for my age group. Not like an Olympic or anything, just the 1 mile swim, or no, it was 1,500 meter swim. Then it was 14. No, it was It was like 20 something bike ride, and it was It was a 5K. So yeah, so 5K, 20 miles on the bike. I think it might have been 24, and then like either 500, 1500 meters. I really can't remember, but that was fun. But I don't have the money to invest in that either because like that's time, that's more biking, and some of the bikes out there are like thousands of dollars. When I bought like $100 bike, I actually got it for free, but I tuned it up for $100, so I called it a $100 bike. So I really do like the run though, and I get extreme tunnel vision when I run for races. Even though this race wasn't timed, I didn't wear any like bands, I didn't have like anything on my ankle to track my time. My Apple Watch actually was like, "Hey, you dummy, are you you running outside right now? Because we'd like to record that for your workout for the day." And I was like, "Oh, thanks, man." So I turned that on, but when I like started getting to that race pace mode, I was like top 10 of the people that were running it because I mean, I don't think that many people were trying to run it competitively, but like, I don't know, there's just like, ever since I did high school track, there's just like, as soon as like, because Santa Claus like rang his whistle, he's like, "Oh, time to go." And I'm just like, "Okay, Santa, thanks." And I was playing Mariah Carey. I had an external speaker and I was playing that song. But then like once I passed everybody and like got to like the top of the pack because like everyone's like pacing actually running, I was like, okay, time to turn on the Michigan game. So I turned on the Michigan game. Oh, by the way, I like Michigan, not Michigan State. So, I know that's gross. Anyways, so I turn on the Michigan game, I'm listening to it, and then I start hitting my pace. I start hitting that runner's high that you get, and your body, you start in tune, and you're breathing right, and you're stepping, and you're doing all these things, bam, 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 and you're just focused. And I've got tunnel vision. My body feels great. I started getting a little overheated, so I had to take off my hat because that kind of sometimes happens when you wear like the wrong hat when you run in the winter. It was pretty cold. It was like 35 degrees outside. It wasn't the coldest I ever ran in, but it was pretty cold. But, you know, I'm running. So a lot of like the reason why people do this 5K is because you get to see this beautiful holiday Christmas light. You see this huge Christmas light display. And yeah, they have like, you know, a variety of things to look at. I was just running the course like, yeah, round this corner. Yeah, pace this person. Okay, stare at their shoulders. Okay, I passed them. Okay, who's the next person? And like, and then as soon as I was done, like you could like hang around and you could what else could you do? You could go and get like donuts. They had water. They had like little snacks. And I was like, man, ain't nobody got time for that. But realistically, I didn't want to, one, beat the traffic out of the parking lot, and two, I wanted to go home and eat because I was really hungry because I had like nothing for lunch, and then I had like a snack after my nap because I had an early day. I had to deliver the refrigerator and ruin the floor. So, wow, it was a terrible day. I feel terrible, but everything's okay though. But that took longer, so I stayed up the night before playing video games with Munger. Oh yeah, I'll try to have Munger on. Munger sucks, and you'll hate him, but you'll hate him like the rest of us. But you'll just hate him. But yeah, I played like video games last night till like 3:30 a.m. and it's not like, oh, video games 3:30, bye, good night, and then you fall asleep. No, you got to put everything away, and then I had to let my DOGs OUT because you know they're listening, and if I say it, they'll come. If you say it, they will come. But, so, anyways, wow, I got super distracted. So I wanted to get home, and I came home and I took a nap, and then I woke up and I was like, well, I slept past the rest of my lunch, so I'll just, and I do fast. I fast on my days of work. I'll stop eating at midnight, and then midnight or sometimes 2, but mostly at midnight. And then I won't eat the next day till like 3:34. I'll wake up at like 2, and then I'll get some coffee in my system. And then after I got some coffee going, I'll like make some eggs or something. But I'm just not committed because like I'll do that and I'll like have a really good week and I'll eat healthy and I'll eat my greens, and sometimes I'll go get like vegetables and I'll like put those in with like eggs, and you know like I'll eat like a salad. And it's not about eating a salad, but like I'll eat better than I do. And then like the weekends come, and I'm just like frozen pizza, chicken tenders, McDonald's, Wendy's 4 for $4. Like I am just like, oh, it's only $6 for the Chinese combo at lunch, and I'm gonna eat at least 3 plates. Like that's what gets me in trouble, and that's why I either need to start going to the gym more, or like it. But it's hard. The job I'm working right now, I'm working 12-hour shifts. Hopefully, the job that I want, that's going to go back to 8 hours a day. So that's going to be great because I'm going to have more time to come up with better topics than to talk about what I've been doing for the last 12 hours. But, I wish there was more time in the day. One of the things that it was one of those pill questions that you've seen, you get $1 million every time you do this. One of the ones is you never sleep. That'd be great. I mean, sleeping's cool, but if you never got tired, because being tired sucks, and that's why you want to sleep because you're tired. But if you never got tired, if you never ever got tired, man, I'd almost read a book a day. Between it's okay, good night everybody else that's regular person. And, it'd be 4 a.m. in the morning and be well, I'm supposed to be sleeping because I'm supposed to be tired, but I'm not anymore. I'm going to read this book till 9 a.m. and I just read a book or do puzzles. And you could do everything if you never ever got tired. That'd be the greatest. I think that'd be one of the greatest superpowers or things to have or quirks, Really big into My Hero, by the way. Naruto is my number one OG. Samurai Champloo is great. Cowboy Bebop's great. Bleach is great. I've only seen through the Eisen arc, though, so I don't know anything else that's beyond that, but I have seen some tidbits here and there, so maybe it's gotten better. But it did get worse for a little bit. Guilty Crown was all right. It was originally called Samurai X, and then kind of got changed. Rurouni Kenshin, that's on Netflix, I believe. Seasons 1 and 2 are fantastic. Great antagonist and protagonist. I should stop saying Pokemon the Kanto region, and then Orange, whatever islands. That was good. And then I did watch him win his last battle. I didn't even watch it in English. I didn't have subtitles, so I just watched him in original because I was just it'll come out in English and it won't be the same voice. But good for Ash, 20. That's what I'm saying. Here, hold on real quick. So anyways, Ash Ketchum for 20 years remained like a 12-year-old boy. He's like that girl from Ukraine who is 30, but she's 12. Nobody really knows. Bone density test. Crazy story. Look it up. He's kind of like that. And so for 20 years, he's trying to be a Pokemon master, and he finally wins it. The underdog finally wins it. As in most series, would be oh, yeah, you're number one. You won already. You're the best ever. And there are certain shows that, even though they are the best, they still make Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh's the best. He's the best. Yu-Gi-Oh! But no, for realsies, Yu-Gi-Oh's the best. But they still make it hard. Oh no, he's got every card that I can't believe he has. But I have this card that he didn't know that I knew I had in the heart of the cards. And then he wins. Spoiler alert. And Seto Kaiba kind of gets a little chill. And you're never going to be Yugi. Cool, you got Blue Eyes White Dragon, but Dark Magician. But yeah, there's in One Punch Man, the way they write that show is fantastic. Yeah, he's number one, but the way they write it is awesome. But for Ash grinded. He grinded. He won the Orange whatever, surfed down a dumbass hill with a Charmander. Maybe it was a Charizard and Squirtle and the Ice Canoe and cool. That's not Pokemon Stadium. That's crazy. That's whoop-de-doo, Basil. I don't even know, cool. But he finally won, an actual tournament. And, spoiler alert, it's those two dogs. The rock type, I think. They're were-dogs. I don't know. I'm not super huge in the Pokemon anymore just because, again, it takes a lot more to play them than it did for the original Game Boy Color. The last one I played religiously was Sapphire and Ruby. I did buy not Shield and Sword, but X and Y. And, no, Sun and Moon? Yeah, I bought Sun. And yeah, I played it and stuff, but there's so much more to know about it that I'm just like, I don't have time. I don't care. I don't care anymore. Like I used to be like 100% everything, and I'm just like main story. Sometimes when I'm really into a game, though, I'll be like, yeah, I want this armor. Like for example, Mass Effect, one of the best series you'll ever play through. If you don't do everything you're supposed to do, people will die. So take the time to make your ship the strongest it can get before you go into that final battle. That's all I'll say. But sometimes you got to grind, sometimes. But hey, we're just going to sum that up. It's just over an hour. I've been rambling on for a minute. I've got other things to get back to, but this has been the first official podcast. And if you liked it, cool. If you didn't, whatever. If you want to input your opinion for now to get better, sometimes I'll read them. But, if you're just going to call me like ugly, then like cool. But I'm not going to be like, oh, you're mom, because I just don't have time for that. So signing out for my first podcast that's going to go hopefully on at least iTunes. I'm JT of Jville, at JT of Jville, jtofjville.com. Better logo. If you make me a cool logo, like, that'd be dope, but I'm going to have to come up with one myself because I don't have any fans yet. Signing out. Bye-bye. Captain Sam.